Well, you don't know, sir, Red Fire, aka Redders, representing Trinidad and Tobago.
The Silky Savage, representing Brooklyn.
And we are
the Saturators.
and you are watching New York Caribbean. Here. Want to just stand up and dance. Yeah. Big lips jamming on the dance floor. Saturating music that will make you dance more. See some big hips.
So I founded the Saturators back in 2015. We're pretty much a collective of musicians that specialize in a myriad of dance-related genres. So we will touch elements of cumbia and dancehall. We'll touch elements of Afrobeat and funk. And what kind of separates us from the competition, quote unquote, is the fact that we do it totally differently and we blend all those styles in sort of a fluid manner.
A big mashup. I mean, if it makes you dance, then, you know, with me, myself, I do a lot of soca music. So when you hear calypso, soca, salsa, merengue, they all go hand in hand because it's almost the same thing. Compa, souk, like it's pretty much all the same. It's just the same four on the floor, you know what I'm saying? And you just have different formats of your percussion, different formats of bass, different formats of like just the drums, how they play.
It's always a different variation of the clave, which is present in all those forms. And you know, live when we perform with our full unit, we always have percussion, and that has been that's our OG Theo.
Shout out to the OG.
To the OG, we've maintained that as a constant of what we do through our entire 10 years of band.
Actually, I was born in New York. My family's from Trinidad and Tobago. It's kind of a mix-up with me because like my main root is Trini, but on my father's side of the family, Cayenne, a lot of them come from Grenada. So you could basically say that like with me, I'm Trinidadian and Grenadian mix when it comes to the family line. Okay. So
I'm classic Slavic Jewish. So like it's like 100% great grandparents came through during the 20s. So it's pretty much just been Northeastern Russian Jewish kid. I think that, you know, it kind of speaks to the rhythm section that we've consistently chosen, especially we had one of our family members now is actually going to be drumming on the Gloria Estefan Broadway musical. The guy we're currently playing with, that guy was Colin Taylor. The guy we currently play with, Daron Lev, plays pretty much. He's a Jewish guy from Miami, so he has all that awesome Latin music. And you know, me personally, as like, you know, the guy who's producing a lot of the songs, I just love shaking it, man. And once I came to New York, one of the things that I was most enamored with and have studied for a long time has been those Latin forms, because what I liked is how instantaneously people dance to it when it's live. So incorporating those forms as well as like the other Caribbean forms has become sort of integral to what I like to do with the style of this music.
With me, I've been doing it since like I was young. So like my main thing prior to, so I always listen to soca music because, you know, during family functions, you know what I'm saying, when my grandmom used to live up here, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, you listen to all of the barons, all of the scrunters, all of the, you know what I mean, my father, he used to play for Mighty Sparrow. You know, as funny as it seems, he used to play for Mighty Sparrow. So I know about all of the calypso, old school calypso, soca, the crazies, all that, you know what I mean? So to incorporate it into everything that we got coming together, like especially with the Latin styles, with the Caribbean styles, it all flows together. It's all the same family. Even with compa, even with souk, like all of it is, you know, it's just a feeling to it. I can't. It's really difficult to explain, but it's just.
So we can find that. We can find that big point.
Thank you. It's just. It's very difficult to explain, but it's something that you have to have within you. It's a passion. You know what I mean? It's a passion.
What's going on? It's your girl Estelle, and you are watching New York Caribbean.
It's not for you, it's not for you. Take a step back.
I always heard soca records. I heard soca records in the house growing up. Like I heard Mighty Sparrow, I heard Sprints, I heard Crazy, Lord Kitchener, all kinds of records, like all kinds of old school soca records. My pops was actually, my mom and my pops was really into Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
They listened to a lot of that, a lot of George Clinton, a lot of throwback 70s, 80s, you know what I'm saying? My mom's pops had the big afros and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? So my household was a very funkish household. So I'm able to listen to these different forms of music and, you know what I'm saying, knowing how to incorporate them with each other, like, you know what I'm saying, with the time signatures and just everything. Like, it's just a feel to it. I took the feel and then I just put it together and you know what I'm saying, we make it work.
If I can play off what Red just said, I never knew that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The way I was growing up is my family, or at least my pops, has been involved in the music industry since before I was born. I come from like a radio family. My pops was a DJ from the 70s until becoming an engineer later, and I was a DJ in college too myself. So my specialty as I grew older, you know, I grew up listening to a lot of Jimi Hendrix when I was young, and a lot of prog rock and rock and roll. My mom really liked The Police and you know, Burning Spear. So I always had, there was always different stuff going on musically in the house.
Barris.
Yeah, and you know, I started getting into funk when I was young, which is still like my true love. And then when I was in college and I was doing a radio show, I had the beautiful experience of being allowed to play whatever I wanted on the air. So like I'd do a show where I would start it with King Tubby and end it with like Tribe Called Quest, or I'd play like Iron Maiden in 1 hour, and then I'm gonna put on an iron shirt. Well, that's Chase the Devil. That's Max Romeo, right?
I'll mix it up.
And then I would play Zappa on the overnights or Indian classical, you know. So I've done my best, you know, to not only like research this music, but to incorporate it into like my daily life, you know. Here's a funny story. Like I just moved down the block in Flatbush. I usually wake up and I either put on a mix of like cumbia or I put on a mix of Afrobeat. Shout outs to Afrobeat, big Fela fan. You already know. And I blast it loud. But then on the weekends, the family that lived next door to me, I had thin walls. They would always be bumping salsa. And like I was like, I can't even be mad because it's just they recognize and I recognize that it's going down. And for me, my pops is from Brooklyn, so living in Brooklyn is homecoming, and it's an honest exchange of culture, you know.
Speaking of DJs, because I used to do the DJ thing, I want to shout out the sound systems that I work with, you know what I'm saying? Lead One, Island Superior. My peoples, they down with Tech Nine Movements right now. Shouts to Venom Y2K. Oh, DJ Tropic. Yeah,
Tropic.
Yeah, DJ Tropic.
Yeah.
I used to, for the Carzo cases and the crates, to the mixer, the main mixer, the turntables, just carrying it to different parties. And, you know, I think that's probably where we were able to like really get a good mix in this music from, because of the fact that we used to be DJs back in the day.
First funk record I remember hearing is Brothers Johnson, Stomp. I have a vivid memory because I was like 10 or something, and it was back when you could get radio stations through Windows Media Player, and Stomp came on, and it was like the baddest It was so bad. You got Lil Johnson going in on that song. He has that bass solo, and I would like put it on repeat. I loved that song.
It had to be Buju Banton Stamina Daddy when I was 5. My older brother was playing it. I was just started running around the house singing it. And I used to do this little line, yo. I used to stand up and be on some.
Yeah, baby.
Everything. I used to, yo, when I was a little kid. It was mad funny though, because like I used to have my parents laughing, like my aunts was laughing. I used to just do my own thing when I was a kid. Like whenever the music played, I just would go just dancing and just, you know what I mean? Just, it was fun.
Yo, this is Conscience from Kingston, Jamaica, and you are watching New York Caribbean. Hear that? Enough love, big up.
Sweet lady, come across the pond to do what comes naturally. A minute turned into an hour and we find enough for each other. Enough of us a phone conversation stimulating over what we uncover.
With me, the road that I traveled. My parents, they bought instruments for my older brother, like a Casio keyboard. So a lot of times, I used to listen to Hot 97 back in the day, and I used to play along to the music on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Just like practicing, playing the bass lines or playing out the main melody and just singing along to it. It went from that to when PlayStation was out, they had this game called MTV Music Generator. So what happened was my older brother bought me that game. And from there, that's when I learned how to sequence and start to make instrumentals. Like I used to make old school Gregory Isaac instrumentals off of that. I did Beverly Hills Cop 3 anthem off of that. And then I just had fun with it. And I used to put it to a tape player because it wasn't no real way to pull it off of the PlayStation other than the memory cards. I was chilling with my boy one day, and then my boy had this program that he downloaded one time. It was called Fruity Loops. So he made a little beat off of it, and it was cool. It was a dope beat, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I started to mess around with it. I was like, okay, yeah, I could really do something with this. And like people in my family knew that I do music already. They was like, okay, Kenny, yeah, he's a real music kid. Like because back in the day, in junior high, I used to listen to like a lot of the Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. And me and my peoples, we used to clash with everybody's songs in the school. So we would go, it would be lunchtime, we would be on the lunch table, yo, get that Jamaican shit. And then we go, a suicidal murder. You know what I mean? We used to come and just freestyle. With my boy or whatever, he got the Fruity Loops program. And then I told my cousin about it. And then my cousin, he got me a copy of it. From there, that was all she wrote. 14, 15 years I've been doing production.
Well, it's actually a pretty direct path. My first instrument was my grandma's piano, and just disclaimer, I still love playing piano, and I hope to really get good at it within the year, because I played it on and off for years. And I had a piano. We had my grandmother's upright, and then I had a regular like Yamaha keys, you know, one of those crappy ones. And now my pops plays guitar, so he had like all the old guitars up in his room. And then I think it was probably when I was like 11 or 12, I said to my dad, like, I want to take some crappy acoustic to summer camp. So he showed me like some. Well, here's the thing. Around that time, he gave me. I have a family heirloom. It's like really special to me. It's this old Dan Electro guitar. It's like this 335 clone with lipstick tube pickups, and that was my first guitar. It was semi-hollow body, and I still play it. I started really getting into production, technically like more recently, because I've been doing Logic. You know, I've been engineering bands through college, since high school, so doing that for years. Like I just started sequencing for this band with Ableton, and I play Machine too, which is like pads, it's like the MPC, and I started getting into that about 2 years ago because and it totally changed how I could like create demos and stuff, and I don't know, man, now I think at this point I've been doing music for more of my life than I haven't been.
Well, I say greetings from the king, 'cause love is all I bring. And this is Spragga Benz, I make the party them a swing. Well, watching, this is Spragga Benz, and you're watching New York Caribbean. Keep it locked right here, yeah? Red Square. Up.
This a the part of the dance for the sexy come out every got to walk and make the baseline fig out. I make the baseline fig out, you want it. Ask one a girl without a doubt, girl. Hold your position and bend over. Hold the position and bend over. Girl, if you hold the position and bend over and take a walk when they was close and give me the white way. You take the waist that come back with the time way. 29 slim, that's a tiny white way. Girl, back it up in the man in a frenzy. Up on it a road like the excitement.
Saturators right now. So currently we're in a phase where we've just landed probably one of our biggest gigs, playing a Saturday night at the Brooklyn Bowl. Even though it's a support slot, we're pretty excited about it. We have 3 more songs from our EP that we're gonna release over the rest of the course of this summer. We just finally got merch, and we have a couple dates out of state that are lined up
next weekend.
in Vermont through the fall. So by the end of the year, we hope to not only have consistent out-of-town dates, but have some kind of consistent presence in New York. We've already done a major residency in Harlem and just started a new one in Williamsburg. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're at a really good state with our build. I think really the next phase for us, I want to get a comprehensive record on the books because we don't have a full length. So we want to have a full length release by next, like in production by next year. And I would like to have a fully choreographed live show and light show. In addition, I think that and by that time I want a summer tour with festival dates. 5 years is a little harder for me to gauge, to be completely honest, just because we don't have a full body of work, and I just don't think it's fair to talk without that in mind.
Yeah.
You know? How about you, Red? What do you think?
I think in 5 years, just a bigger, better brand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel as if we have enough time, we have enough resources, and we have a lot of good momentum as of right now. That everything that we're doing, we got Brooklyn Bowl next week, especially with all of the stuff that we did already, you know what I'm saying, and everything that we have mapped out in the future is just nowhere else to go but up. You just continuously work, to continuously grind. So 5 years from now, I just see a bigger, better version of everything that is occurring as of right now. You know,
Yeah.
It's just a great,
Cool.
yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for being in New York Caribbean.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I make the baseline fig out, you want it. Ask one a girl without a doubt, girl. Hold your position and bend over. Hold your position and bend over. Girl, if you hold your position and bend over and take a walk when they was close and give me the white way. You take the waist that come back with the time way. 29 slim, that's a tiny white way. Girl, back it up in the man in a frenzy. Up on it a road like the excitement. Call up on them and get a fashion trendy. And you never bend the man and drink like whiskey. That piece of one girl that you be gifted. Girl, hold your position and bend over. Up in the girl, them a girl. Bend over. Up in your man, make a bird. Bend over. Rock it up and set the shirt. Bend over. Girl, hold your position and bend over. You don't have a problem. Bend over. Up in your salamander. Bend over. They get 10,000 and girl. Girl, let me see your waistline wine. I turn on the poster. Mine in school, but you earn your promotion. If you do the floor, then you drive local motion. The perfect wine. But one of the potion. I make you hold your position and bend over. Hold the position and bend over. Girl, if you hold the position and bend over. Like we're taking on the body, man, we want to. So make it a move it. Mind to the rhythm and the body not Tuesday. I mean, I slap the lady that Tuesday. I did never rock it like a yacht Tuesday. But she walk it up and make a man take Tuesday. But if it's in the clip, then I refuse it. Waistline to waistline, yeah, let's use it. But when you want to the best of the music, yeah, the whole position and bend over. I feel the girl them again, bend over. I feel it now, bend the bird, bend over. I feel it when we say the shade, bend over. Yeah, the whole position and bend over. You don't know I'm from here, bend over. You stand up on them, bend over. You get bend out and bend down. Yeah, let me see the waistline. Waistline. Look at the waistline. Hey. Love of your wine, a girl. Dance over your looking straight wine, a girl. Anything on the wood, only I want in a girl. Let us away, don't try to be behind a girl. A 28, a 26, 28. Some of you looking come on the wood, I want to take some of the rubber, the unity, or the country. So the brother that I wake up is trying to make it so I can make up the to again. I don't feel like I'm walking up with the people who walk in the people who walk in the corner, like you're walking on the food of my food. But then I'm picking up and trying to make it so I can see I'm going to walk in the rest of the boat. But in the back, I go back and get it. Bend over, hold the position and bend over. Hold the position and bend over. Hold the position and bend over. Can't 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 hold the position and bend over. Hold the position and hold the position and hold the position and can't hold the position and can't hold the position and hold the position and hold the position and yeah.